This episode is brought to you by Marvel Studios Echo. All episodes streaming January 9th, only on Hulu and Disney+. Rated TV MALV. Viewer discretion advised. Maya Lopez has betrayed her mentor, the notorious Kingpin. Now on the run, she returns to her hometown to prepare for the biggest fight of her life. Don't miss Marvel Studios' hardest-hitting series yet. An epic 5-episode event. Marvel Studios Echo. All episodes streaming January 9th, only on Hulu and Disney+.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
And this is Thirsty Thursday. I'm drinking a Truly.
I'm just drinking a whatever. I you know what? This is more fun. Let me say that I'm drinking a Truly vodka seltzer. Yeah.
Yeah, it is better than a Michelob Ultra.
Yeah. Well, I just basically picked what I had in my refrigerator.
Nice.
And you're having some Mentos, I see.
And some Mentos. You know,
yeah.
I don't know what made me grab these, but I was like, do you remember when they say if you have a Mentos and you give a blowjob with the Mentos, that it's supposed to feel extra great? Is it why I got them? I mean, I thought about that afterwards. I think so, because it's like a cooling sensation.
Wouldn't you choke? I mean, not on the Mentos.
Oh, you just don't swallow it.
That's what she said. Oh, this was the best start. You know, since we're starting here, let me just go ahead and just bring this up.
Okay.
Have you heard about the new? Oh no, we get this thing. Have you heard about the new sign, new swinger sign that's taken off in Florida? At the Villages in Florida? The Villages. I don't know what the Villages in Florida are, but this is where this has gone.
I remember somebody said something about an antenna, but I forgot what goes on the antenna. Sponge.
Loofahs.
Loofah. Yes.
I have the cliff
the
notes.
Key.
I have the key, and I'm going to tell you about the different colors and what they mean. So if you see somebody driving around with a loofah on their antenna, or even if it's just hanging off the car somewhere, I think that counts. If there's a loofah anywhere, I don't think these people are like going and using the loofah and then putting the soggy one on the car. I'm not sure. I would hope they get a fresh one and just stick it out there and they're like, hey, I'm this color. This is what I'm about. Let me tell you the colors.
So I wonder if they did this to like make people, because now pineapples went crazy.
Competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Since we're talking about swingers, we should tell them who the couple that we're going to have on the podcast next week.
Is it next week?
The week after, would they hear this one?
Yeah.
That started a new podcast here. We're going to ask them about this. Okay.
What is the white loofah?
Novices and beginners. What's a novice?
Well, I think this is like you're just curious. Okay, so if you have a white loofah, that's like you're just curious. You're a beginner. You're just like what's this about? What's this about? And then what is purple?
Voyeur and people who like to watch.
So it's like, hey, just invite me. I don't know if I'll participate, but I definitely want to watch.
Oh, that'd be me.
Yeah, so like I'm going to let me bring my bean dip, and I'm just going to sit over here on the side, and I'm going to just watch all y'all do your thing, okay?
Yeah. Let me see the sign-in list.
Yeah, I just want to watch you bone. I'm going to come over here, eat my dip, and just my chips, and just hang
I'm going to give me a purple one.
Yeah. And then what's pink is the next step.
Soft swap. People who like to do it with others in the room. That's soft.
Okay, so this is like I'm doing it with my husband. And we may swap a little bit, but we're not really sure if we're going to. So this is kind of like not really. We don't. Yeah, we may, sure. But we're not sure.
Depends on what you look like.
Probably so.
Or how drunk you are.
And then blue.
Lowest level of full swap. Those who can play well with others.
So this is kind of like a gray area. And it's like you have both couples. They're boning in the same room, right? They're doing it in the same room. And they're like, maybe like, so if me and my husband are in the room and you and your husband are in the room, I'm going to reach over and I might grab your boob or we might kiss. Oh. So that's just a little bit of what's the blue.
Yellow.
Yeah, yellow.
Mid-level swap for those who want to have fun but are still nervous.
So you're not an expert and you want it to be as like you're not very comfortable. You don't want toys involved, but you don't want strap-ons or anything. You don't want all that stuff yet, but you're just kind of like
you're easing into it.
You're easing into it, yeah. And then we got black.
Full swap. Those who say what the hell, let it all go down.
Screw others and partner screw others.
This is where the murders happen. And the divorces.
And then there's one more, teal.
Bisexual, for those who want to increase their dating chances. Ooh.
I mean,
so the man can sleep with the man.
Yes, you are swapping and same sex, and you're mixing. All the juices are flowing, and you are just going all the things. So my question: what color are you?
I already said it, purple. I would want to, but I don't want the world to end while I'm there. So I'm only going to stay for a little bit.
You're like, oh, just invite me. I don't know if I'll participate, but I'm going to sit back and I'm going to eat my bean dip and I'm going to just watch.
Guacamole.
Okay.
But I need there to be a sign-in sheet so I can see everybody's names that are on the list too. Oh, I'll check people at the door.
Oh, yes.
Okay, if y'all are having a party, I'll check people at the door.
Well, I think I would probably be yellow. Like, I don't need to have all these toys, but like, let's go ahead and like, or maybe like blue or yellow. Maybe like yellow, blue.
Okay, blue.
Like, I'm okay. Like, we'll touch a little bit, and I'll go over here. And
lowest level of full swap, those who can play well with others.
I play well with others.
Yeah.
But for now, it's just me at home. So I don't have to worry about it.
So you just got 2 invitations, Swinger World, out there. We're going to tell the couple next week. I'll sign people in at the door.
Yeah.
You will play well with others.
I will. I mean, obviously, I have high standards. So
yeah.
There's certain people who do not.
So you might need to see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm bougie. I'm a bougie swinger. If I was a swinger, I would be a bougie swinger.
Yeah.
Like, I would only go to like the LA party swing. Like, I would have to be like.
No, none in Waco, Texas.
Oh, no.
None. No trailer park swingers.
No.
Well, that was good information for you people who love the porn part of Bloody Happy Hour.
Yeah. And before we get to our, Manscaped situation here, let me just give you a very, very short update on how the trial's going. The Murdaugh trial. So it's basically like you're watching a TV show that you really like at the beginning. And so like you're invested, right? And then somewhere in the middle, it just kind of all goes to shit because like you're invested and then you get really confused, but then you're like, well, I can't just stop watching it. Like I have to finish the season or finish like the next 3 seasons. I need to know how it ends. So that's where I'm at. I'm stuck in the middle. I need to know where it ends.
You never do that on any shows that you watch.
I know. But I feel like
I'm
in it. So the best part of the trial so far is living for any sassy moments. It's lawyers fighting lawyers, which is kind of funny, which I don't really know what they're saying, but I'm getting interpreted by whoever I'm watching. And it's a lot of guys with really great beards and really good voices. So that's always, it's fun to listen
also
to.
Porn.
No, I have no idea. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so prosecutor's terrible, and they're confusing everybody, and there's
I tuned in day one, and I tried to tune in a little bit, but I couldn't do it. So I'm going to have to pick another trial to watch with you because I've already missed out on too many days of the Murdochs.
I stopped posting about it because it's so confused. Like, even the the lawyers who are the YouTube people who are doing the commentating and, like, telling you what's happening, they're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? Like, nothing's organized. They're not calling. It was supposed to take 3 weeks for the whole entire thing.
Uh-huh.
Tomorrow, it's been 3 weeks.
Oh, has it?
And they
haven't done anything.
The prosecution is still giving their side, their case in chief or whatever.
Wow.
Fauci.
No, not doctor.
It's not Anthony Fauci,
Fucci.
even though he should probably get prosecuted, but whatever. It's Aiden Fucci, like Gucci.
Okay. This is how crazy this is. I only found this story last night, but I recognized the face because she looks like Topanga from Boy Meets World.
She looks way older than, you know how old she is?
You'll tell us, but I think junior high or something. But
let me tell you, I did not look like that in junior high. Not even close.
But I was like, ooh, I need to watch this. And I said, how's Caroline not doing the story? I bet she's going to do the story. But I couldn't now stop watching it because it's such a Caroline story. So, and then I just peeked at your Google Doc today and I was like, bitch is doing the story.
That is...
Get out of my head.
Oh, wow. Living rent free. So on Sunday, May 9th, 2021, which was Mother's Day.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst weekend to lose a kid. It's when my brother died too. It makes everything. Mother's Day's never the same.
Never the same. It was around 6 p.m. when the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office in Florida received a call from a resident who had been out on a jog and came across something near the woods. And April, it was not a mannequin. It never
Did he
is.
say it was a mannequin?
No, but people always like,
it pissed me off.
It's a mannequin. It's never a mannequin.
Never a mannequin. Never a mannequin.
Got that? So it was the body of 13-year-old Tristyn Bailey, who had been stabbed 114 times and had been dead for less than 24 hours.
114.
I just want you, and listen, just think about
yeah.
Like, that's a lot. Like, if you go 50 like by the time you get to 50, like, you're tired.
Oh.
And then you keep going 50, and then you keep
yeah. He took breaks.
A lot
He
of
had to take
stabs.
breaks. It's a lot. And then why? I need to know why.
Just because he wanted to. So Tristyn Bailey, 13 years old. 13. 7th grade.
Y'all look at this picture. She looks like Topanga from Boy
Meets World.
World.
And she just looks older. She just looks older for like, when I picture a 13-year-old, I picture me, which was like a 7-year-old, I guess. When I was throw that. So she lived in St. Johns County. Her parents were Stacey and Forrest. She has 4 siblings. They called themselves the Bailey 7. They were super close.
And we're in Florida, right?
Florida.
Yeah.
And so she went to Patriot Oaks Academy. Of course, she had a bubbly personality because that's who always gets killed in our stories, are people with bubbly personalities. Never have a bubbly personality.
Don't do it.
I always say it. She had a bright smile, but she was a cheerleader. She was on several different cheer teams, and she absolutely loved cheerleading. That was her favorite thing to do ever. So let's go to the day of this horrible stabbing, May 9th, and here's a detailed timeline. So that night before, the last text message she sent from her phone was at 10:51 p.m. So that was the 8th, on Saturday the 8th.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last time she used her phone. Her parents get home that night at 11:45, and they had gone out to dinner with some of the kids. Well, around midnight, so that's the Sunday, it's midnight. It's going Saturday to Sunday. Tristyn's sister, Sophia, sees her talking on the phone, and she's on some video chat, and she sees her talking to this white guy in a baseball cap. whatever, no big deal. And about 12:30, she had another call come in, and it was a call from this guy named Aiden Fucci.
Okay.
Fucci like Gucci. And so that's about 12:25. So 12:30, Tristyn went to a friend's house. Her friend's name is Trey, and she went to Trey's house, and that's where Aiden was also there. So they go there, but then Tristyn and Aiden leave around 1 a.m. They leave Trey's house, and they just go on a walk. And there's surveillance cameras. There's all of this is basically.
So they're friends.
Yes. Yeah.
Or ish.
They're friends. So he has a girlfriend.
Okay.
A lot of this is just doesn't make. It's just I don't even know how she got. I don't know. But yeah, so around 1 o'clock, Tristyn and Aiden leave this guy Trey's house. Then around 1:45, they're seen on surveillance walking on a sidewalk towards a pond. That's at 1:45. The next thing you see is 3:30. At 3:30, all you see is one person.
Him walking back
away from the pond. And this person is seen wearing the same clothes that Aiden previously had on. Whenever this.
Somebody stole Aiden's clothes?
Mm-hmm. And then moments later on the video, it shows Aiden going into his house carrying white Nike shoes. So he's carrying shoes.
Okay.
So later that morning, it's like 9:40. This is on May 9th, Mother's Day morning, Sunday morning. Tristyn's siblings go into her room, try to wake her up. Hey, we're going to have Mother's Day breakfast.
We're going to cook breakfast for Mom.
Yep. That's when they discovered she was missing. So they searched the house.
So she obviously snuck out of the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, of course, the parents are like, she's never snuck out. But, it's typical parents, I don't really know. But they did have a lot of kids. So they probably just.
Tired as hell, went to bed, and didn't wake back up.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
So eventually Tristyn's mom, Stacey, calls 911 really upset, gives a description, says that she was last seen around midnight and that she's never snuck out of the house before. Her phone was not home. The calls were going straight to voicemail. And she said that Tristyn's phone, she had her Snapchat location. Because you can see if you're following on Snapchat. So that the Snapchat location had been turned off, and one of Tristyn's friends followed her on Life 360, and that's like the app where you can see it.
Got it.
Yeah. And that it said that Tristyn had stopped sharing the location. Like the app had stopped sharing the location. So,
it doesn't even show the last location on Life 360. It'll just say nothing. She turned it off.
Yeah. Like everything was off. So then the 911 person asked Stacey, she's like, go room by room and search every room. And they're like, we've already done that. And they're like, she's like, Tristyn has not been hanging out with anybody different. Like she hasn't been upset. I mean, maybe she's been a little bit moody here and there, but nothing that's like out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And then later mom confirms that Tristyn, because they're like, well, maybe it's like a runaway. Of course, they always go to that first thing. She's like, no, she's never said anything about wanting to leave. She's never said anything about wanting to harm herself. And nothing. She wasn't on any medications. She didn't have depression, anxiety, nothing. And she doesn't have a boyfriend.
So, and police are probably thinking, okay, she's been human trafficked right now. Because that's where my mind
for sure
would have.
Especially in Florida. Yeah.
Gone, like, who does she meet on social media? Strange old man that took her.
For sure. So they file a missing persons report, and then they send out I don't know at what point they do send out an Amber Alert, but I'm not sure at what point they did that. But this is still all like just happening. Like this is right. Mm-hmm. Like she's missing. They call the cops. Cops come, and then they go and they start interviewing some friends. Well, they immediately go and they talk to Trey. That's whose house that she was at.
It was a party?
She was just over at the house, that house with Aiden. So they go and they talk to this friend Trey, and he was like, yeah, Tristyn came to the house and that she snuck around like the certain side of the house because Trey knew where the family had like their own little cameras, outside cameras, home cameras.
At Tristyn's house.
At Trey's own house. Because Tristyn is over at Trey's.
Okay.
And was like, hey, girl, make sure you go around this way so you're not seen on the camera because I know exactly where the cameras are at our house.
Kids always know.
So then that's when they go and question Trey, and he was like, oh, well, I actually told her where the cameras were so she would avoid them. So you won't see her on the cameras coming to the house, but she was at the house, and it got it.
Yeah.
So snuck around, blah, blah, blah. So Tristyn and Aiden end up leaving Trey's house at the same time. So then they're like, okay, let's go talk to Aiden. So they're heading to Aiden's house. They're going to interview him. He showed the police where they went after they left Trey's house. So they Aiden said that they walked along this North Durban Parkway and said that Tristyn then turned onto the street that she lived on, and she went home, and then he went home. Mm-hmm. And he said he made it home between 3 and 3:30. But then they were like, well, if y'all just walked from Trey's house to like where your house is, that should take you about 30 minutes. Why did it take you 2.5 hours?
Yeah. You had to stab 114 times.
Because you had to do 114 stabs. So then they're like, this doesn't match up. And this is when Aiden's story changed. So then he's like, oh, well, actually, we were walking, and me and Tristyn got in a fight after she grabbed my penis.
Great story, Aiden.
He then pushed Tristyn to the ground, and she hit her head. But he said that she was dizzy from smoking weed at Trey's house.
Oh, gosh.
And so he wasn't sure if Tristyn got up.
Oh, he just left.
So he just left. So he said he left. He walked around a little bit and said that Tristyn was most likely hanging out with the drug dealer who was in his 20s because that's who she'd been talking to on Snapchat. So at this point, officers are like, we got a crime, and
was he black too? He probably said he was black too, just to make it seem even more
probably. So they're
more believable.
Yeah, they're like, we got a crime, and now we're gonna have to start questioning Aiden. So then Aiden and his parents, real quick, they lawyer up.
Okay, which you should.
100%. Okay. So police are gathering information, and they finally are like, they're trying to ping her phone, Tristyn's phone, and they finally track it down, and it's tracked near this wooded area, kind of near that, what was it, a pond? There? Yeah. It's called Loop Nursery. I mean, I can say these names. I don't know where any of this stuff is, but it's
for you locals.
In a wooded area near Loop Nursery, but the signal was no longer active. So not long after, I think it's after he's there. There's a Snapchat picture that comes into play of Aiden.
Okay.
And it's a picture of him in the back of the police car. So I think I kind of had two different.
Oh, he snaps himself.
Yes.
He gets in the back of the police car and he videos a Snapchat.
And I wasn't
sure. But I forgot what he said.
Well, I wasn't sure if the picture was taken after he was arrested or if or when the cops come to his house to question him, he just got in there and took this picture. I wasn't clear on that.
I think it's when he was arrested because they were trying to make it seem like he didn't have any remorse, like he just kind of thought it was a joke.
Well, because what he does is he holds up a peace sign and he writes on it, because you can have a little place where you can write the text. And he writes, "Hey guys, has anybody seen Tristyn lately?"
Yeah.
And then people, he sends it out. I don't know if it's sent to everybody or just like his friends, but he gets responses, and some of the responses are WTF Aiden, and another one was, you were with her, Aiden, you know what happened to her. So at this point, his cell phone's being seized. So
yeah.
They the record, yeah. They didn't get much out of. Let's see. At 5:02, police discovered that Tristyn's last outgoing phone call was to her sister, but no text records were received.
What time was that phone call?
5:02. That was, I guess, the night. They're going back to the day before.
Okay.
So then we get to where we started the story off, which was where the 6. Did I tell you what time it was? Whenever the jogger was jogging along. So now we're PM? 6 p.m.
Okay.
So, yeah, because it happened like at 3 a.m. and then it was like later that day. Yeah. So this is where we get to where this person, Daniel Hart, he's the one who discovered this body. What do you imagine if you see I know I would love to discover a dead body, but I do not want to discover a super fresh dead body, especially not a little child.
Kid. Yeah. Being in Cameron Park all the time, when I would run there, there would be like these wells, and I'd be like, let's stop and make sure there's not a body in there. You think you want to see one. I don't know what I would really do. And I especially don't want to see a kid. I don't want to see anybody that I know. So I don't know.
We need to do we need to find some people who found bodies like this and talk to them.
Okay.
I'm just curious what they I don't know. What do you? At night? So Tristyn was lying on her right side. Her right leg was slightly bent at the knee. Her left leg was like a 90-degree angle. Her right arm is extended and her left arm is slightly bent, and her her hand is touching her chin. So she's just sprawled out, just like you would, it's just horrible. Her hair was matted. It was red from all the blood. She had multiple sharp force wounds on her hands, arms, neck, and appeared to be some sharp force trauma injuries to her back. And they were evident by the holes in her shirt. So she fought. She had, because there were
defensive
cuts all over her. And by the way, I could get to this later, but they did, in her scalp, the half of the knife was left in her scalp.
Oh, yes.
And the other half was found at his house. And we'll get there. So also found at the scene was a gold ring. It was a ring that she had. It was her ring. A cell phone, a $20 bill, a pink vape, and they also found a Powerade bottle and a shoe impression that was left at the scene.
Nike shoe? His white Nike shoe?
Is it the UFO guy? What's his name?
Marshall Applewhite?
Marshall Applewhite? This is Marshall Applewhite come back with Nikes? I think it was. So about an hour after Tristyn's body was found, police go back to Aiden's house and they question him. I think this is probably when he does his Snapchat picture in the back of the car.
Okay.
Because now they're they've confirmed that it's her. She's deceased.
He was the last person.
They go and they pat him down. And this part is a little confusing too, but they do a pat down on him and they find a knife, but then the officer looks at the knife and is like, oh, nothing suspicious about this knife, here you go, and gives it to Dad. But then later comes back and is like, oh, by the way, actually I do need that knife. And then Dad is like, oh, I actually put it on the bumper of my truck and I forgot it was there and I drove off and I don't know where it is.
Idiot cop, idiot dad.
Whenever I come across things like this, I'm like, am I reading this right? Or is this actually what is happening?
Oh, we did find a body that was stabbed 114 times.
And we found that you had a knife, which probably half the knife is still stuck in her head. But,
it's not important.
You can have it back.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, apparently, Aiden's arrested and they're going to the police station. Because they're going to have this mom and dad and Aiden. they're in this interview room and they are waiting to talk to the police.
Oh my gosh.
Now, this is where it's real suspicious because they're in this interview room and the parents, it said while they're in the interview room, both the parents make several comments to Aiden not to speak about stuff because they do not want it. Like, they're like, we're in this room and it's being recorded. Don't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Then they just keep talking.
Oh, don't say anything, but keep talking.
Don't say anything. But then
is it opposite day?
Yes, because they're like, don't say anything. This room is recorded. It's videoed. You know, we don't need to say anything till we get our attorney comes here.
Yeah,
we're not saying anything. But then mom and dad are asking him questions about the incident after they said don't say anything. They can't help it. They can't help it.
I would not be able to help it either.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Bros and hoes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and hoes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and hoes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and hoes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.
Mom told Aiden the girl, referring to Tristyn, was found in their neighborhood down the main street, and Aiden asks, "Is she good?" And Mom was like, "No, she's dead."
Why do you think you're here?
And she's like, "That's why this is very important, because this is all on you right now."
Is he an only child?
No.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm. So Aiden's like, "Well, how is this my problem?" And then they're like, "Well," I'm going to directly read this in a second. But then he's like, "Why is this my problem?" And he's like, "Well, you were the last one seen with her, and you posted that Snapchat, and that does not look good on you."
Mm-mm.
And he was like, the dad was asking him like, "Oh, do you have any scrapes?" And he's like, "No." And then the dad, there comes up this transcript. Well, I guess newspaper published this article, but I'm going to read it directly because it's easier to understand if I read it directly.
And you'll just tell us what newspaper so they don't get mad at us?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dad stated, I mean, this is from I don't know. Yeah. Dad was like, "So you walked away and you came straight home. You didn't turn around to see where she went, right?" And Aiden shook his head, and he shook his head no. Dad then asked, "What were you doing outside that late at night?" And Aiden he stated that he was at Trey's house hanging out. And then Dad asked, "Well, did you kiss her? Did you kiss or do anything with them?" Aiden stated he kissed Tristyn and denied doing anything further. Dad then asked, "So your DNA is going to be on her?" Aiden did not respond. Dad stated, "We saw your shoes were off on the camera. Why were your shoes off?" Aiden responded, "Because my feet were hurting and the shoes were giving me blisters." Now, Crystal, which is Mom, I'm telling you her name because she comes into play. Crystal asked Aiden if he came home and then snuck back out again, or if he was at Trey's house the whole time. And Aiden said he did not sneak back out and he was at Trey's house the whole day. So Dad advised, because of the Snapchat, Aiden and Trey took. So Trey was in the police car for this picture as well. That people on social media believed Aiden and Trey raped and murdered Tristyn. And Aiden didn't respond. Crystal asked Dad if Aiden was going to be kept with the police. And Dad said he didn't know. There was no evidence he knew of, and asked Aiden if he knew of anything that they didn't know of.
Okay.
I think they're just trying to, this is all still in the interview room. And Crystal then asked he asked Aiden if Tristyn really grabbed him and he pushed her. Aiden stated Tristyn did grab him. And then Dad asked if Aiden knew what happened after he pushed her. Aiden said no. And Crystal asked if Tristyn said ow or got mad. Aiden stated Tristyn yelled out his name. He pushed her, told her to get the F off, and he walked away. Aiden stated that Tristyn probably walked off because she was no longer next to him and he did not look back. Like,
so stupid.
Jason was then asked if there's anything else to worry about. Aiden indicated no, and Crystal advised them that was like, hey, the house is going to be searched. And then Jason asked Dad asked why Aiden's clothes were damp when he got home, and Aiden said that they were wet due to water from a cup that he spilled on himself.
He's such a great liar.
And then Aiden said that he fell. I mean, it's just... Okay, so.
Aiden seems great. Aiden's in junior high too, right?
Aiden's 14.
13 and 14. Wow.
So, 8:59, police requested to get consent from parents to take DNA from Aiden, and they did that. They waited for the attorney, and they went on with their business. Monday, May 10th. So, that's all one day. That was all one day.
Mm-mm.
So, now we're on Monday. It's like 12:45 a.m. Police go and they search their home. I guess that's when they got the warrant.
Yeah.
So it's 12:45 a.m. Police go search the home. they find a Buck brand knife sheath, a pair of wet white Nike shoes with blood on them, a T-shirt with blood on it, a white piece of paper with handwriting with possible blood on it, a pair of wet blue denim jeans in a laundry basket. They also find blood and dirt on the drain in the bathroom sink next to Aiden's bedroom.
Mom washed clothes.
They also find 8 pocket knives.
Somebody washed the clothes.
Oh,
It's
Mama
Mama
washed the clothes. And remind me to tell you how they found out all that stuff.
Okay.
Police also find a notebook during the search, and the notebook contained drawings of were super violent. They said the drawings had satanic themes, including a pentagram, as well as violent depictions of women. One of the drawings appeared to show a female with red X's over her breasts and genitals, as well as what appeared to be severed arms with blood coming out. And Aiden, at 3:30 a.m., was arrested on the charge of second-degree murder. So on May 11th...
Why is it second degree?
Well, we'll get there.
Because it's not premeditated, maybe?
Aiden appeared in court for the first time, and he was... Basically, they were like, oh, you're going to be in detention for 21 days. That same day, the medical examiner determined the cause of Tristyn's death was sharp force trauma by stabbing, because she was stabbed 114 times. 35 wounds were to her head and neck. The other wounds were to her torso, chest, back, and upper extremities.
Oh, it's overkill.
Aiden was originally due to be represented by an attorney, which this attorney shortly withdrew from the case. He did not want to be a part of this. And then Aiden was then represented by a public defender. Then, so it's what day? Mother's Day. What day was Mother's Day? I said
the 10th.
Okay, so
9th.
May 27th.
Okay,
which is a couple weeks later, it was announced that Aiden would now face first-degree murder charges, and he would be charged as an adult.
Yes.
And he was moved to an adult correctional facility in St. Johns County the following day.
Oh, they put you with big people?
So for a little bit they did it, and I think at first once they found, like, the medical examiner's report came back and they found out how horrible and bad it was, that they decided to charge, but he wouldn't sit. It's weird because he was charged as an adult, but he couldn't receive a sentence because he was a minor. Like he couldn't receive the death penalty because he was a minor.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
But he could receive life.
I didn't see that. I think that's everywhere.
Oh.
That you can't receive death penalty as a minor.
But I think it's interesting how it's like you're charged as an adult, but you can't receive the punishment of an adult.
Because you're not
an adult.
You just can't get death penalty. Yeah.
I guess that, I don't know. It's kind of confusing. So then on Thursday, June 3rd, he pleads not guilty.
What?
Mm-hmm. So a few days later, on June 5th, Aiden's mother, Crystal, was arrested.
Oh.
Why Crystal arrested?
Well, she used that Gain or those Tide Pods.
Well, she be using that Fabuloso. It was not so fabuloso.
It was not great.
So she's charged with tampering with evidence from washing blood out of his jeans.
Oh, gosh.
Authorities say surveillance video in Aiden's home show Crystal going to her son's bedroom after he was taken to the sheriff's office. And Crystal is seen in the video retrieving a pair of blue jeans.
Their own videos? Like their own
cameras
in-house?
In-house nanny cams. I watched it. There's multiple. It shows her. It shows her. She's downstairs. She's just walking. She walks upstairs. It shows her walking upstairs. She got the jeans in her hand. She goes in the bathroom. She starts... You can see her moving, scrubbing. She has the jeans. She goes downstairs. She looks at them. She goes back upstairs. She goes back downstairs. She puts them in the dryer. She goes. It's everything.
Wow.
It just goes back and forth between these two cameras, and it's like you see her talking to somebody. She's on the phone. There's the dog running around. She has a little kid running around. It's just.
I bet they'll go easy on her because she was a mama.
Well,
being a mama.
She's seen scrubbing the jeans, returning the pants to the bedroom, blah, blah, blah. When the officers return to the home, they confiscate the pair of jeans, and that's when they look in the drain, and they see the drain test positive for blood, and they arrest Crystal, and I think she's currently awaiting. She's arrested, and then she gets released. So
this daddy just lost his whole family, and now he's got a little baby to take care of and a dog, and got to do all the laundry himself.
Well, apparently the dad has spent time in jail for battery and child abuse in 2003.
Who did he abuse?
I don't know. A child. It says he was 8, and then it says he was 18 when he had sex with a 15-year-old.
Oh.
And he was also booked in 2016. How old is his dad? He was also booked in 2016 for battery because he got into a fight at a gas station.
Oh, well.
I mean,
that don't really count.
I know. A fight, whatever. So, July 14th, things were released, an interview with one of Aiden's friend, and apparently the friend said that Aiden frequently talked about murdering people and that he planned to murder someone by dragging a random person into the woods and stabbing them.
So there's premeditation.
And then his 8th grade girlfriend, so he be kissing Tristyn when he got a girlfriend in the 8th grade.
Don't tell me she's supporting him.
No.
Okay,
she was like, he frequently talked about killing people. He always carried a knife when he was not in school, and he had more than once pretended to try and stab her, and he'd come up behind her and put a knife to her throat.
Oh, and that was still her boyfriend?
I mean, it was just fun. He also... He gave his knives names.
Oh, is he Catherine Knights? Did he hang them above his bed too?
Yes. He named them Picker and Poker. And Poker ended up being the knife that was recovered near the pond. That was also found in her.
Part of in her head?
I guess part of the knife was found in her head and part of it was found in a pond.
Oh, okay. Not in his. I thought it was in his house.
Well, because he had 8 other knives.
So, Miss Crystal and Daddy Fucci, did they think it was normal for their 8th grader, to have 77 knives and name them? And then drawing?
Listen, they probably were dealing with this damn toddler running around here, ankle biters and all this. They probably don't even care about the other kid.
He was trying to get attention.
I mean, this little boy, he still has acne all over his face. Like, he's only 16 right now. So, a friend of Tristyn's who was interviewed by these investigators told them that she did not like Aiden. She described him as textbook definition of what you would call a numb kid. He has no feelings towards anyone and no feelings towards himself. She said he is the type of person you would see as a murderer, and he doesn't care. So she is DTF. We need to get her on the podcast.
Yeah.
On Monday, July 26th, Mama Crystal pled not guilty to tampering with evidence.
Oh, I just was doing my kid's laundry.
She's just doing laundry.
I didn't know any different.
Yeah,
I
but
thought it was period blood.
Maybe
thought he lost his virginity.
maybe she's going to end up doing the same thing that Aiden ends up doing. Oh,
what?
I'll tell you. So all of this comes like they're like, okay, well, it seems like there's a bunch of little legal holdups in the case. October 28th, 2021 comes around. Aiden's attorney, who's this like public defender, files a continuance and is like, oh, we need to hold off and we need to wait and push it back. So they push it back to February 2022. So it's been delayed several times.
Yeah.
So he appears in court February, and then they're like, oh, this, and this, and then they reset, and it's rescheduled for November. I don't know.
Just now, November.
Yes, just now, November 2022. Then, what day was that? So that was, June, July. So then around then, a little bit later, so it's pushed back.
Mm-hmm.
Then that public defender leaves, like excuses himself, so he has to get another new public defender. And the trial is then moved again to February 2023, which is today. Right now. And the reason that it had been postponed, at least from the November to now, was because they had so many people that they were interviewing, like 200 plus people that they had to interview, because it was all these kids who knew things or whatever. It was maybe saw something on Snapchat or this or who's this or where have you been. I mean, they had, and I don't know.
They want to gather all there. So they
had all these depositions that needed to be taken, and they needed extra time to complete them all.
So the prosecution's delaying it this time.
I don't know which one was delaying it, but it was just kept getting delayed. It probably was at that point, the prosecution. So it gets to December, so it's been delayed till February, but we're in December, and then they file a motion to move the trial and to get it out of the county, like get it into a different county, change of venue.
Okay. Because
they're like, everybody in this town knows what's happening and they know what's going on, and it would be a impartial jury.
Hey, it don't matter where. It's going to be impartial anywhere. All they got to do is hear what happened.
Yeah. So the judge denied it.
Oh, okay.
And so it was kept there. Okay. Well, they listed all these reasons where they thought it shouldn't be moved, but it was not moved. So then they go on to talk about how he has been in, like, how he's been in jail, how it's been going.
Okay.
Because he's been in solitary confinement. And I have questions about this in a little bit. He's been in solitary confinement for over 400 days. Damn. With exception where he was in general population for 129 days. But when he's in solitary confinement, he's in the cell for usually they say 23 hours and you get 1 hour out.
Uh-huh. That don't always happen.
But they said he has been alone in a cell for 24 hours a day. He's been denied access from any form of recreation, either indoor or outdoor. He's denied access to group education. He's not allowed to eat meals out of his cell. He's not permitted to participate in congregate religious services or jail programs. But I also heard that he was pretty disruptive in the jail. Like he didn't.
I mean, who would not go crazy? I'm not defending him.
No, I know.
And I feel like this is not going to help the prosecution, because that will make somebody go crazy. Like, there's studies on it.
Yes.
That will make somebody go crazy. Yeah. So now he's not going to be competent to stand trial, and you're not going to get justice.
We get to pretrial.
Okay.
There's a video conference, and it's like a Zoom call, right? So you see him on the phone, and all of a sudden he starts looking around, and he's like, please, I should play this, but he's like, please don't let the demons take my soul. The demons are going to take my soul. What's going on? What's going on? Why am I here? I just want to talk to my mom and my dad. What's going on? What's going on? But
and you almost can't doubt it, though.
Well, but he's faking it.
And he probably is. But he's been in solitary confinement, like in a 6 by 6, 6 foot by 6 foot room, probably 10 by 10 room for 400 days.
So trial is set to begin February 6th.
What happened?
Which was literally
Monday.
He goes into the courtroom with his lawyers. They're getting ready for jury selection. I'm ready. I'm like, where's the live feed? He enters a guilty plea. Which is good, which is really good for the family, because that's just reliving all of it, seeing all the pictures, all the things. So I don't know what happened, he goes to the courtroom. He tells the judge that they tell the judge they're changing their plea from not guilty to
yeah,
guilty.
Okay, I do remember.
And then he stands before the judge and he says, "I'm sorry for the Bailey family and my family." So the sentencing will happen in like a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's up to the judge to do the sentencing. He will get 40 years minimum. Life is the max. The prosecution had no clue this was happening. So the state.
Yeah.
They had no clue. They didn't offer a plea. They didn't offer anything. Like they didn't like nothing. He just all of a sudden said, "I'm guilty." Because the prosecutors, like, they had no idea.
I thought they were trying to get a plea deal. Like, they were trying to plea out, like, multiple times. They were like, let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. And the prosecution was like, no, we're taking this all the way. So they refused whatever plea deal.
Oh, the defense did. The defense refused any kind of deal?
No, the
prosecutors refused the deal from the defense?
Because they were like, he'll plead guilty if you do this many years, like trying to get less time.
Oh.
Trying to get less time.
Yeah. Oh, surely they knew they had
So the prosecution was like, no, we want to go all the way with it. So I guess they refused the less time deal.
Yes.
So then they wanted to come and say not guilty in hopes that maybe the judge, because the judge will do the sentencing now, right?
Right.
Will give them maybe less time.
Oh, well, he said guilty. So so now that
he said guilty, but now I think they're hoping that they won't get the maximum time because he didn't put them through a trial.
Right, now the jury,
you're saving them money. Yeah. Like, will they go easy on them now?
So what they said is that he will be, what is it? He will be granted eligible. He'll be up for parole in 25 years. So he'll be 56. So
16 plus 25 is 56.
I don't know. That's just what I heard. I didn't do the math. But
that's 41. And that's what it is.
25 plus 16. Is that what you did?
He's 16 years old plus 25 is 41 because I remember hearing that last night.
Who the hell did this math?
I remember hearing that last night and thinking, oh, he'd be getting out at my age.
Yeah.
And so he could still live a life. So, I mean, he's going to live a lot of years in jail.
Well, here's the thing. So my question is, either way, obviously he's going to jail. He's going to jail for, I just don't understand how it's like your minimum 40 years, but it's actually minimum 25 years. Like what? I don't know what determines if you get parole.
I think that's Florida.
Oh.
I think Florida is you have to do a minimum of 25. Everywhere it's different.
So what do you, this is my question.
Life is life in Florida. So that's why they did, because he was facing life, not death. He was facing life. I think that
either this sentencing will be streamed. I will be watching the sentencing.
Yeah. I remember that's why that they went guilty, because he was facing life, and life is life in Florida, where like everywhere else you could be gets so many roll without the possibility of parole or anything. So that would be like for life. And so they're like, if you plead guilty, you may only get 40 years, which may be 25, and you get to live as a 40-year-old.
So what do you think? Do you think that you can be rehabilitated in that amount of time? I mean, you're going to jail. You're not going to any kind of prison is not rehab.
Yeah, no. There's no rehabilitation. It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
If he lasts, they'll eventually put him out with gin pop.
Because think about, you can't, your family comes in, you can't hug them. You can't, it's like you're basically, and you're still, developing.
Mm-hmm. Your frontal lobe is not developed
and
yet.
You are you have to you're around all the you're gonna get everything's going to happen to you. And you're going to like, I just don't see how you can get better at all.
Oh, he's not.
Because you're going to become hardened, especially being in that environment.
Yeah. I need to know more about his mental, like how come they didn't have him
and that's the
evaluated
thing,
or like
this
is weird shit. Like those drawings are weird. Where's the doctors? Where's the psychiatrists?
It's like I can't like there's nothing out there.
Where's
about
Casey? I did also hear that they declared indigent, like Ray Carruth did, where basically you're poor, you don't have money, and so Dad said that he ran a business, but after all this happened, he couldn't run his business because everybody hated him. So then they lost a lot of money.
But
that's why they had this public lawyer or something, right?
Yes, but they had a nice ass house.
Yeah, but now with all this, he can't make the money that he made before.
Yeah.
And then now he's got to so basically he needs a lawyer for his wife and a lawyer for his son. You can't pay for both, so somebody's got to get public defenders. Wow, I'm so glad you did that story. Oh, that's him now?
Yes.
Oh, he got a little chunky.
Yeah.
He's filling out. And he cut his hair. I'm so glad you did that story. I was listening, and you filled in a lot of holes because what I heard last night, I was like, this would be a hard story to tell because you don't know everything yet. They didn't release all of the information
because you typically get it all in trial.
In trial, yeah.
And then you're like, oh, here comes the trial. Oh, just kidding.
Just joking.
But I mean, I assume, I don't know. I'm sure we'll hear some stuff in the sentencing because they'll do the impact statements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what all say,
will they still do the character part? Character witness? No, is it the character phase where people up there tell all the good things about you to kind of maybe help?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Oh, we'll see. I'm going to be watching it. So,
It's a sad
horrible story. And for no reason. I mean, there's no reason. There's no reason. No reason.
I actually cried for that mama and that little girl last night just because it's just so sad.
It's so sad. I mean, you don't even think your kid sneaks out and she's over here getting stabbed up. Stabbed. And
you can't get mad at her because she's probably doing what other kids are doing. Vaping, sneaking out, talking to boys. Yeah. Probably not allowed, but that doesn't mean they don't do it.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to get with some crazy kid who's going to go on some stab attack.
That's what's scary.
So there you have it.
Good stuff.
Loofahs and swingers and trials and more.
And, yeah, Fucci's and Gucci's.
Fucci's and Gucci's and Fauci's and COVID shots.
That's good. Good stuff. Okay, well, we will see y'all next week for whole new episodes.
Yep.
All new news.
Maybe some
updates.
Romantic novel talk. I don't know.
Maybe some romantic novel swinger talk guests. We'll see.
Share some episodes. Share your friends.
Yeah. And go to manscaped.com. Enter the code BHH. You get 20% off. That is a great Valentine's present if you order right now. There's still time to get in for Valentine's. Not really. This is going to be past Valentine's.
That's fine.
Or
St. Patrick's Day is coming up
Martin
too.
Luther King. No, St. Patrick's Day. Martin Luther King Day. Sorry, St. Patrick's Day.
Do you want me to tell you about Martin Luther King's statue? Because I'm sure there was Manscaped on that statue.
And then don't forget, go.foursigmatic.com. Enter code HAPPYHOUR. You get 30% off
and
anything you want.
De-stress, all the energy.
Yeah. I mean, if you get both, you're de-stressed, you're clean and shaven, and you have all the energy. That is double win.
Yeah.
Double win.
Okay.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in. Newbies, we hope you loved us. Tell us how much you loved us.
We appreciate you.
Yes, for tuning in.
I don't know who I'm telling that to. everybody.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Down to find the murderer.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Love your show.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.